На востоке виднеется бордовое свечение городских огней. Вдалеке слышен шум машин, на город опускается ночь. Занавески сдвинулись совсем чуть-чуть. Изнутри кто-то наблюдает.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. No one answers.
Стучать.
We should return tomorrow.
Да.
Tomorrow at 9
Все-таки
p.m.
завтра. Уйти. Все-таки завтра. Потому что почему-то... Я это помнил, но почему-то в квесте написано просто после 9. А не завтра после 9. Так, вот это я не знаю, блин, как с этим Кун разговаривать, он бесячий. Особый борщ. Повар из танцев в тряпье, можно поискать его. Тут можно зайти сюда, кстати говоря.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head.
Прижать ухо к двери.
The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. You don't hear any movements. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. No birds chirp. You knock silently. The upholstery muffles the sound. No response comes from the apartment.
I guess no one is in.
Ким, что ты думаешь по поводу задания, которое мы тут выполняем?
Let's be honest. This isn't what I joined the RCM for, but every day tells you something new about yourself. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I'm squeamish about.
Значит, ты не будешь возражать, если я открою дверь?
If the Merc Tribunal happens before we solve this, we are looking at casualties. What's one unlocked door compared to that? On the other hand, we could just leave and tell Evrart we opened the door. No one seems to be tailing us to see if we actually did it.
Соврать Еврору? Ты такой вариант рассматриваешь?
Yes, presenting a fabrication is known to get results here and there. You took this task. You make the call.
The door is right here. You can just open it and be done with this. Besides, if you never open it, you're never gonna find out what's behind
Вот это
the
мне
door.
больше интересно. Может быть, там что-то важное есть. Для меня, не для него. Открыть двери ключом, который дал «Зови меня Маньяна».
You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head. The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one heard. As you hold the open door, you can feel the air moving. A little draft, a whistle.
Мне слишком интересно, что тут есть просто. Комната пахнет дезинфицирующими средствами. Химический запах. Открытая книга «Тайный мир тростей». Солнце на флаге такое красное, что от него почти ощущается тепло.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty.
Что не так с этим солнцем?
This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
Что такое чудо семи солнц?
It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Смотри, старый флаг сюзерена.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an
В смысле,
old-fashioned guy.
смотри, старый флаг сюзерена. Вот с таким ударением. Поклониться флагу зачем? Не поклоняться флагу.
The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing.
Тот, кто здесь живет, явно увлекается блондинистыми героями фэнтези с накачанными мускулами.
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others.
Постучать по кружкам.
A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down with a look of disdain.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Почему? Небольшой чемоданчик, набитый одеждой. Кто-то приехал в гости? Ну и по сути тут больше ничего нет. Ничего нет. Смотри-ка, тут теперь гораздо больше людей. Внутри виднеются атрибуты профсоюза, плакаты забастовки, красные вымпелы. Фотографии людей в спецодежде с оружием и плакатами профсоюза. В сушилке стоит посуда, она пахнет моющим средством и хвоей. Воздух наполнен ароматами специй, алкоголя и помидоров.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
Интересно, куда ведет эта дверь?
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
Манит меня ее кобальтовая синь.
It is quite pretty. I suppose we could look into it as a side investigation.
Нет, дверь — это мега-расследование.
Hardly. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
Попытаться толкнуть дверь.
The door does not budge. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side.
Недоступно.
Can I help you?
Я кое-что увидел в танцах, Гарт, и хочу об этом поговорить.
What thing?
В задней части кухни есть таинственная стальная синяя дверь.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
Ты знаешь, что за ней? У тебя есть...
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Мне кажется, тебе интересно, что за той дверью.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
А еще я заметил знак. Там написано, что столовая зарезервирована для профсоюза.
Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
Да не парься, я тебе заплачу. У меня уже $34. Ну или как это там, какая валюта?
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
Как нам их найти?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Сейчас уже больше 4 часов. На табличке было написано «Зарезервировано с 4». Почему в столовой по-прежнему пусто?
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or laying low after the, lynching.
Почему это?
They probably fucking killed that guy or something, and that's why.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
Я хочу поговорить о другом.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Кстати, я собираюсь спеть здесь под караоке.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
Ладно, до свидания. Вообще тут есть какие-то типы, которых не было. Как минимум с 2 можно поговорить. Ты кто, например? Все в мире завязано на деньгах. А ты кто? Никто, просто там бутылки стояла. Только чё же получается-то? Мы не можем туда попасть? Найдите вход в потайной коридор. В смысле найти? Про особый борщ тоже непонятно. Наверное, за дверью, нет? То есть теперь меня сюда не впустят?
The door is closed.
Постучать.
There is no answer. You hear the shower being turned on somewhere inside. A tremendous loneliness comes over you. Everybody in the world is doing something without you.
Проглотить
The
эмоции.
door is closed.
Снова постучать.
Still no answer.
Постучать еще раз очень громко.
Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance.
Подергать ручку.
This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. As you hold the metal, you sense the warmth left there by her hand.
Ладно. Не судьба. Придется, наверное, идти к этому типу, сказать, что мы выполнили его задание, и чтобы он нам что-то рассказал новенькое. Что кроме этого я даже не знаю, что можно сделать.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
Я открыл двери, которые вы говорили. Можем мы теперь обсудить убийство?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
Но все-таки это расистские кружки. Была такая мысль. В мою задачу не входило заглядывать в квартиру, так что я не стал.
You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're all good here. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Я слышал, что между линчеванием и забастовкой есть связь. Хотелось бы послушать, что вам об этом известно.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire? I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Погодите, у вас есть деревенский слон?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Продолжайте.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Погодите, перевозят контейнер?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
И кто наносит этот удар?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
Да.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Классно, он прям сдал своих чуваков. В чем его план?
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Откуда вы знаете, что наемников прислала грузовая компания?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
Эта компания называется Кренел. Возможно, раньше это было Sediment.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
Оставшиеся наемники организуют трибунал, чтобы разобраться с парнями Харди.
Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. I'm gonna lose sleep over this. Let's change the subject.
He's clearly happy about the tribunal.
Кажется, вас это не очень беспокоит.
Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base with old Everard before you've even courted him properly.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
Вы говорили что-то о девочке-адвокате.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Расскажите мне о Харди и его команде.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Где мне их найти? Профсоюзный зал в танцах был пуст.
You know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're going to show up in full force tomorrow.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
В будущем мне может понадобиться ваша поддержка. Можете вы попросить парней Харди, чтобы они помогли?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Погодите, зачем вы мне это даете?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Мне это не нужно. Мне нужна только ваша помощь с парнями Харди.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Все пытается меня подкупить, чтобы потом, наверное, если я подкуплюсь в какой-то момент, чтобы он меня мог этим шантажировать. Отлично поговорили. Подведем итоги.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And, of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Пока что.
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left, so you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
Это очередная коррупционная уловка, так? Я не левый и не правый. Я делаю то, что подсказывает мне сердце.
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Для чего эти подписи?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Где именно находится это место?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
Что будет с теми, кто живет там сейчас?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Ну, блин, в принципе, чё? Я думал, что их имеется в виду насильно переселять будут, а им надо просто потерпеть шум стройки, и все. У нас тут постоянно что-то строится, к примеру. Вообще везде в мире где-то что-то строится рядом с кем-то. И ничего страшного. Если это не строить, то ничего и не будет, все будет дряхлеть. Если он, конечно, не заговаривает мне зубы. Если речь не о том, чтобы снести их дома, то я не вижу в этом ничего плохого. Ким, что скажешь?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martin A's, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
Ладно, если я там окажусь, то попрошу их.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun.
Что находится в контейнере, что снаружи?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
Этот особенный. Он был прикреплен к крану Квалсунд.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Как? Кстати, я расследую ваше подозрительное варево.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Так. Что еще? Я не знаю, стоит ли говорить с ним про вот это наркоторговцев. До меня дошла информация, что профсоюз занимается торговлей наркотиками.
What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any jolly fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this?
Без комментариев.
Harry, you wound me, Harry, in the heart. But I trust you to put this to bed. Do what you must, and let's change the subject, shall we?
Thank you for your understanding. We will continue to do what we must.
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like you, but you never were my favorite. I'm a Harry guy. I'm Team Harry.
None taken. Did we have anything else to do here, Harry?
Ну ладно, Эврор, сейчас мне нужно идти, но, возможно, мы еще продолжим разговор.
See you soon, Debardeur. Just kidding, but not too much.
Кто-то оставил это на кофейном столике. Что? Что оставил? Ничего нет. Нам надо поговорить с этим. Сейчас, погоди. У меня есть 3 очка навыков, между прочим. Белый конверт.
You
Взаимодействовать.
take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Он сказал полгода потерпеть. Тут написано период строительства от 12 до 40 месяцев. Пытаться найти лазейку в сделке.
There doesn't seem to be anything of interest here. No fine print. You're smart. You can read.
Изучить план зонирования.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
О, попытаться найти еще раз можно. Лазейку в сделке.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Стоп, а каковы последствия всего этого?
Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
Посмотри, Ким. Этим людям придется переехать. Неужели мы ничего не можем сделать?
I should have seen it. Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything, Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try a forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
Сложить документы обратно в конверт.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Я еще не заплатил управляющему кафетерием за ущерб.
You should take care of that, then.
Но у меня нет денег.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Хорошо. Все разошлись. Мы еще вот тут не были в этом доме. А это тут все еще кидает камни.
Can I help you?
Ну. Насчет денег, которые я тебе должен.
Yes, have you got it?
Хотел спросить, не можем ли мы на сегодня как-нибудь договориться?
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Ким собирается что-то сказать, не мешать ему.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
Где? У меня, между прочим, по-прежнему есть ключ от номера.
Good luck trying to use it. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
Этот диалог ни к чему не приведет, не так ли?
Not until you bring me the money.
Ким,
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
до свидания. Вот упрямый говнюк, а. Я ж, блин, коплю деньги, лишь бы... Лишь бы сдать ему их, ну, оплатить ему.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage.
Посмотреть в спецотделении для перевозки подозреваемых.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
Что значит ты их конфисковал?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
И ты забрал его колпаки?
Mm-hmm. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Разве это не коррупция?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Ты хотел поставить эти колпаки на свою машину, да?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Да, возмутительно круто.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
Мне жаль, что из-за меня тебе приходится их продавать.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
Спасибо, я ценю твою помощь.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Кстати, Ким, что это такое? Что это за аппарат?
This is the Kupris Kinema, my motor carriage. You can use the toolbox and the radio if you'd like.
Motor carriage. Something bad with a motor carriage. A dark lump rises in your throat.
У всех полицейских в РГМ такие крутые мотокареты.
The Kupris motorcar does provide most of our patrol vehicles, yes.
Может, заведем ее и покатаемся?
No, I'm afraid not. We have a murder case on our hands, remember?
Что это за щемящее чувство возникает у меня при слове мотокарета?
Nothing. It's probably nothing. Forget I brought it up. Please proceed with the carefree lollygagging.
Вот должно быть, что разбудило меня, когда ты прибыл в Мартинес. Этот инфернальный рев.
Yes, sorry about that. The Kupris kinema does have a rather distinctive engine sound.
He says it with very badly concealed pride.
Снова осмотреть кабину.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Вытащить выдвижной ящик с инструментами.
A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
He's clearly a little protective of his tools. But what can you do? Work is work.
Взять болторез с обрезиненной рукояткой.
The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand.
Взять фонарик с динамо-машиной.
It's robust, weatherproof, and well-made. Police issue, blue. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss.
Взять монтировку с красным оконечником.
The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand, heavier than you'd think. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids.
Задвинуть выдвижной ящик с
The pull-out
инструментами.
toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook.
Окей. Теперь мы можем взламывать всякие места. Это мне пригодится. Блестящие диски. Инструменты. Болторез, фонарик, монтировка. Ломбард — это вот этот ломбард? Какое-то устройство. Древний кассовый аппарат. В темноте крутится кинопроектор. Бюст женщины. Надпись на табличке проста. Дэн. Или что-то такое. В основном военная форма, но есть и парочка более экстравагантных предметов одежды.
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb.
Вот как?
Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hyundai burning.
Понюхать футболку.
Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things you're not going to buy.
You're not imagining it. Photon emissions? What is he talking about?
Что это за мужик на футболке?
It's the man from Hendal.
Walking away from his burning village. Yes.
Полагаю, я должен знать этого человека из Хельмдаля. Но недавно я потерял память. Теперь мне нужна помощь, чтобы вспомнить самые основные факты о мироздании.
Huh?
Я сказал, что недавно потерял память, и теперь мне нужна помощь, чтобы вспомнить самые основные факты о мироздании.
Oh, I see. That's tough, man. I feel the same way sometimes. The man from Hjelmdal is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Kotla. In fact, most people don't think that man from Hjelmdal ever really existed, but they are wrong.
Hendal isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course, but both the man and Hjelmdal are an ontological necessity. But hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about.
Погоди, то есть человек из Хельмдаля реален?
I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really.
Okay.
Так можно о чем угодно сказать.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjelmdal, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there.
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting. Very, very unique energies indeed. Geomagnetic ley lines, one might even say.
Ну ладно, положить футболку.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Посмотреть на уличный фонарь внимательнее.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Это что, уличный фонарь?
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
Где ты его взял?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
Ладно.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels.
Встать на цыпочки, чтобы рассмотреть получше.
One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Это магнитофон для стерео 8.
Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
Они все точно работают?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
На самом деле я хочу узнать, сможет ли мне это пригодиться в полицейской работе.
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Это все.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
Нарыть поистине крутую фигурку в коробке под столом.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. Most of them are just broken toys.
Завоевать ее сердце?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine.
Посмотреть рыцарей на лошадях.
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks. The kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Кто это такие?
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago.
Посмотреть солдатиков в синих мундирах.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Это солдаты-роялисты?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
Посмотреть солдатиков в лохмотьях.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
Это вообще солдаты?
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
Думаю, это должно вселить в людей надежду. Даже мы на это способны.
Maybe.
Ладно. Ничего больше интересненького нет тут. Короче, ты мне можешь купить эти диски?
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Ну, теперь РГМ здесь. У тебя в последнее время были какие-то неприятности?
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Достойная коллекция. Возможно, у меня найдется чем ее пополнить.
It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
Рой что, торчит? Если да, то на чем?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Pyrrolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Перлидон? Что это такое?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Уважаемый, будьте добры, снимите очки. Я должен проверить ваши зрачки.
Why on earth? These are prescription. I can't really see without them.
Спокуха, я свой. Просто хочу закинуться тем же самым.
Prolidon is just something you know, since the People's Power disaster. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. Had to take it for radiation sickness.
He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
Народный котел? Что это?
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
Расскажите мне об этой аварийно-спасательной бригаде.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
Устранять радиоактивное загрязнение должно быть непросто.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment. An early death. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
Кто был виноват в аварии генератора?
No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
Ну да. А как ты открыл ломбард?
The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but...
Спасибо, что рассказал.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Так это... Пиролидончиком угостишь?
Have you tried it before?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, I don't care.
Кажется, я как-то раз пробовал, мне понравилось.
Here you go, man.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Спасибо, мужик.
Of course.
Я хочу кое-что продать.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
Вот это деньги.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not
только
waste
100?
it.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Посмотрим, блин, не знаю даже. Посмотрим, что у меня есть.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Это вот это я могу продавать. Открытка, ручка, открытка, фото. Открытки можно продать, наверное. Мне сейчас нечего продавать.
Another time, perhaps.
Кстати, у тебя случайно нет тут пистолетов? Типа тех, что носят полицейские?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
Ах так, вот. Я сам его заложил в ломбард, блин.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Погоди, я заложил свой пистолет?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
Покупательница тоже была из полиции?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Есть только одно объяснение. Она должна быть из моих ярых фанаток.
In that case, she'll be happy to get a visit from us, if we can find her.
Не знаешь, где я могу найти эту женщину?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
Ладно, по крайней мере, теперь я знаю, как лишился оружия. Сменим тему.
Of course.
Сейчас у меня есть другие дела. Окей. Теперь мы можем хотя бы лечь спать. Ладно, на этом на сегодня закончим. Потихонечку продвигаемся, как мне кажется. Так что все норм. Но если есть какие-то советы, то я буду рад их прочитать. Вот. Так что все.